Hey y'all, hey. Hey y'all, hey. Happy Bible Talk Tuesday. Hey y'all. So, it's a little late for me to be doing my Bible Talk, but I'm going to do it anyway because I need to make sure that I'm on it because I just realized that I didn't do Thursdays. So, pray for me, y'all. But I prayed over my book and I opened it to 2 Chronicles 8. And this is the NIV version for those that want to know. And it says Solomon's other activities. And it says, at the end of the 20 years, during which Solomon built the temple of the Lord in his own palace, Solomon rebuilt the villages that Hiram had given them and settled the Israelites in them. Solomon then went to Hamath Zobah and captured it. He also built up Tadmor in the desert and all the stored cities he had built in Hamath. He rebuilt Upper Beth Horon and Lower Beth Horon as fortified cities with walls and with gates and bars, as well as Beleth and his store cities and all the cities for his chariots and his horses, whatever he desired to build in Jerusalem and Lebanon and throughout the territory he ruled. There were still people left from the Hittites, Amorites, Perizzites, Hivites, and Jebusites. These people were not Israelites. Solomon conscripted the descendants of all these people remaining in the land, whom the Israelites had not destroyed, to serve as slave labor as it is to this day. But Solomon did not make slaves of the Israelites for his work. They were fighting men, commanders, and his captains and commanders, and his chariots and charioteers. They were also King Solomon's chief officials, 250 officials supervising the men. Solomon brought Pharaoh's daughter up from the city of David to the palace he had built for her. For he said, my wife must not live in the palace of David, king of Israel, because the places the ark of the Lord has entered are holy. On the altar of the Lord that he had built in front of the portico, Solomon sacrificed burnt offerings to the Lord, according to the daily requirement for offerings commanded by Moses for the Sabbaths, the new moons, and the 3 annual festivals, the festival of unleavened bread, the festival of weeks, and the festival of tabernacles. And keeping with the ordinance of his father David, he appointed the divisions of the priests for their duties, and the Levites to lead the praise and to assist the priests according to each day's requirement. He also appointed the gatekeepers by division for the various gates, because this is what David the man of God had ordered. They did not deviate from the king's command to the priests or to the Levites in any matter, including that of the treasuries. All Solomon's work was carried out from the day the foundation of the temple of the Lord was laid until its completion. So the temple of the Lord was finished. Then Solomon went to Ezon-Geber and Elath on the coast of Edom, and Hiram sent him ships commanded by his own men, sailors who knew the sea. These, with Solomon's men, sailed to Ophir, and brought back 450 talents of gold, which they delivered to King Solomon. Y'all, so if you don't know who Solomon is David's son, and the Lord asked Solomon what he wanted, and Solomon asked for wisdom. He could have asked for anything. He could have asked for money. He could have asked for a wife. He could have asked for anything on this earth, and he asked for wisdom. So the Lord granted him wisdom. And so because of that, Solomon became the wisest king. So in this story right here, it's talking about how Solomon was to build the temple of the Lord, which David thought he was going to have to do, but the Lord told David he wasn't going to have to do it. He was going to let his son do it. So now Solomon is doing what the Lord has told him to do. And his other activities, which was, for one, building his palace, making sure that the Israelites were not slaves, because as they said before, the people, it says in verse 8, Solomon conscripted descendants of all these people remaining in the land whom the Israelites had not destroyed to serve as slave and labor. But Solomon did not make the slaves of the Israelites for his work. They were fighting men, commanders of his captain and commanders of the chariot and charioteers. So the Amorites, Hittites, Perizzites, Jebusites, Hivites, all of those people, like, Solomon used them as slaves because they were supposed to be destroyed. All of them didn't get destroyed, so he used them as slaves. Cool. So the Lord loved the Israelites, and those are the people that he was bringing out of Egypt. However, Israelites were rebellious. Like many of us, we are rebellious. So the Lord didn't, I guess that is kind of, in a way, yeah. So what I was going to say was, the Lord didn't allow Solomon to use the Israelites as king, but Solomon had to know from the Lord that he shouldn't have them as slaves anyway, because those are the Lord's people at the end of the day. It doesn't matter how you feel about them, they are the Lord's people. So he made them fighters. I don't know. Question: would y'all rather be an Israelite as a fighting man, or would you rather be a slave? I don't know. I feel like both of them was probably horrible, because can you imagine having to go out and fight in the wars? Like, no, I don't want to fight. But then can you imagine doing something that somebody is telling you to do even when you don't want to do it? So it's like, I don't know. Yeah, so that was just a thought in my head. But that was one of the things that stuck out to me, is that the Lord didn't allow the Israelites to be slaves, even though he could have, based on how rebellious they were, and just as consequences in general, because this is still Old Testament God, where he used to be like, you get one chance to mess with me and then that's it. And so I guess the Lord just put it on his heart to allow them to be fighters instead of slaves. So I think that's pretty cool. And then another part that stuck out to me was when he said, my wife must not live in the palace of David, king of Israel, because the place the ark of the Lord has entered are holy. I read that wrong. I'm gonna read it again. Sorry. Solomon brought Pharaoh's daughter up from the city of David to the palace he had built for her. For he said, my wife must not live in the palace of David, king of Israel, because the places the ark of the Lord has entered are holy. So that stuck out to me, mainly the part where he said, my wife must not live in the palace of David, the king of Israel, and that stuck out to me because the house that he probably built was probably better. Like, David had his palace because David was king, but I feel like Solomon, you were wise, so you already knew what your house needed, everything it didn't need, like how to run your house, because he was wise. So I feel like because he brought her up to the new palace that he built for her, it's just like, all right, well, now you gotta upgrade. And that just made me think, like, we don't have to settle in what we thought was going to be our lifestyle, because the Lord will always advance us. He will always upgrade us, as long as we keep trusting in him and knowing that he is who he say he is. And that's literally something that I look forward to. I don't have to settle where I am. Like, I don't have to settle in anything that I do, because I know that the Lord will upgrade me no matter what that looks like. So I'm excited. And then I had one more thing that stuck out. It was, and now I can't even find it. It's okay. But yeah, I didn't really get much from this reading today. But I'm happy that I brought it to, he brought me to something new, because every time I open my book is Joshua 1. It's 2 Kings 4. It's something that we already went over. And it just goes to show, like, the title was called Solomon's Other Activities. You weren't only going to be here for one purpose. Like, the one thing that you want is not going to be the only thing that you're here for. And I had to learn that because I was thinking, like, oh my gosh, I'm only here for one thing. Like, I'm only here to get married. Like, that's what I used to think. But no, you're not here only for one thing. You have to have other things that lead you to your purpose. And you're not only, I don't feel like you're going to have one purpose, because you maybe need it somewhere. Like, for instance, I am at my church, but I'm also doing my own thing. And it's all God related, but it's like I don't have one purpose. I'm not only supposed to reach the people that are in my church. I'm still supposed to reach the people that are outside of my church as well. So make sure that whatever you do, you pray on it, for one. I always tell people, every time somebody come to me, I be like, did you pray on it? Go pray on it, because I don't know what you want me to tell you. I'm not God. But make sure you pray on it, and just make sure that whatever it is, it glorifies God. Like, that's the only thing that we can do in order to please him, and just to make sure that it glorifies him. And sometimes we can think that something is glorifying him, and it's not. And that's why I say pray on it, because he may not want you to do whatever that is, because he may have something else for you. And we have to learn not to keep God into a box, because literally he is, I don't even have the words. Like, he can't be in a box, literally. Like, you have to expect God to do things that no eyes have seen, no ears have heard. Like, and it's crazy, because in my Bible studies, the word of the month is expectation, because we're expecting that God is going to do something big in our lives. And literally, like, we always box God in. We always think, like, oh well, if we settle for this, or oh, if we give him the bare minimum, or oh, if we just set, or if we can just get this one little thing. Like, and God is like, no, I want you to think big. I want you to think more than what you are thinking right now, because I can't do nothing with it. So I think that everybody should just pray first and trust that God knows best. He's always going to provide everything as long as it's in his will, and he's not going to give you something and then leave you. He's never going to leave you. Like, he's going to give you something, he's going to give you instruction, strategy, or he's going to send people that is going to help you get to wherever you think that he's calling you to be. And that's why we have our purpose pushers. So I hope that y'all got something from this, even if it wasn't anything from the reading. But if it's one thing I would say to take back with you, is to pray to God, and don't keep him in a box, because literally he cannot be held in a box, because he's so powerful. So I hope y'all have a great Tuesday. I was going to say Thursday. I hope y'all have a great Tuesday, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.